Well, welcome everyone. I'm Ann Metcalf, and thank you for joining me on my Sunday morning conscious eating, conscious living conversation. Information that we need to know in order to live the healthiest way that we can. And you, as an informed consumer, you have amazing powers as you go shopping, especially for food, because food is my main focus. Sometimes we change the topics. Today's topic is on sulfites. And sulfites are, they've got quite an interesting history, which I'll go into in a moment. And yeah, so sulfites are in processed food, and they're also in our wine and beer. And what are they? They're inorganic salts. It's a sulfur-based substance that naturally occurs in some foods like raw grapes. They're also regulated food additives used as preservatives in many of our foods today. Basically, they prevent or they preserve freshness and prevent foods from going bad. In general, when sulfites are added to foods and drink, they are safe for most people and they come out without any apparent health risk. However, for a small segment of the population, there's a risk of sulfite sensitivity. And interestingly, our bodies need sulfur as a mineral to build and fix our DNA and protect our cells from damage that can lead to serious diseases such as cancers. Sulfur also assists our body to metabolize food and contributes to the health of our skin, tendons, and ligaments. Sulfites are different, because they're used as an additive and as a preservative. According to Health Canada, sulfites can cause allergic-like symptoms in some individuals. And these can be skin reactions, respiratory distress, or nasal congestion like hay fever symptoms, upset stomach, heart issues, including dizziness, weak pulse, or even passing out. Other symptoms include anxiety, a sense of doom, headache, uterine cramps, or a metallic taste. In Canada, sulfites are required to be labeled when added as an ingredient or component to a food at any level, with a few exceptions for ingredients that are exempt from declaring all their components. And I was just thinking, you know what, that can be a serious problem for those who know they have sulfite sensitivities, because some of the conditions are quite serious. The historical use for sulfates is interesting. As far back as the 8th century, sulfur from volcanic ash and deposits was used to fumigate homes and ships from vermin, the little rat creatures. And what they discovered was that the fruit and the flowers in the homes that they had fumigated became preserved. And this led to more discoveries, especially with wine, initially stored in clay pots. And as they say, the rest is history. What are some of the other names for sulfites that we need to be aware of as consumers? There's potassium bisulfite, potassium metabisulfite, sodium bisulfite, sodium dithionite, sodium metabisulfite, disodium sulfite, sulfite, sulfur dioxide, sulfiting agents, and sulfurous acid. And in Europe, they have all these numbers, EET20 up to E227. And these are all the European names. So when you get a European package, they will have these numbers that indicate that there's sulfites in the product you're buying. And so what foods are they in? Lots. There are lots of foods. Foods containing sulfites include dried fruits and vegetables, pickled onions, bottled soft drinks, cordials, and beer and wine. And the list is very long as to what foods they're actually in. So, certainly in Canada, and I'm not sure about the United States, check your packaging and just see if sulfite is mentioned. The other day, and actually what stimulated this chat was I bought some real lemon juice, and it's the lemon concentrate. And I looked at the ingredients, and it was lemon juice, and then there might have been some salt and sulfites. I'm going, really? What are sulfites doing in this real lemon juice? So that's actually what triggered this whole conversation and then my research into it. Uh, let's see, what else are they saying? Um, and it's permitted in most countries, although the use of sulfites in fresh salad, fruit salad, or mincemeat or sausage meat, it's illegal in many countries to do so, but it may occur illegally depending on your source. In addition to food, exposure to sulfites can occur through the use of cosmetics and medicine, which I was surprised at. Cosmetics contain sulfites, including hair colors and bleaches, creams, and perfumes. Medicines containing sulfites include eye drops and topical medications and let's see, some kind of parenteral medication such as adrenaline, phenyleph, let's see, phenylephrine, corticosteroids, and local anesthetics. So if you're sensitive and you know you're sensitive to sulfites, just be aware and make sure you ask. You use your voice and just ask. The sulfites also have a number of industrial uses, including in the photographic and the textile industry. And also, because of that, there's a lot of occupational exposure to those additives, which may be an issue for some people. And here's an interesting piece of research that I found. Processed foods make up about 70% of the North American diet. That's a lot. Sulfites and other food preservatives are added to these foods largely to limit bacterial contamination. The mouth microbiota and its associated enzymes are the first to encounter food and therefore likely to be the most affected. Sulfite preservatives and concentrations regarded as safe by the FDA in the States after the relative abundance and richness of the microbiota found in saliva and a decrease in the number of viable cells within 10 minutes of exposure. So the sulfites, your microbiota in your mouth, before it even gets to the gut, is actually impacted by the sulfites in the food that you're eating. So why is this important? Because the enzymes in the human saliva help balance the microbiome in the mouth. And when that is off balance, it can actually lead to oral disease such as dental caries, periodontitis, plus system diseases of the GI tract and the nervous system. Our oral cavity is a host to nearly 700 different species of bacteria just in your mouth. Isn't that amazing? The diversity and number of bacteria present in different people may vary according to environmental and genetic factors, disease, and diet. But still, it's a lot of enzymes and bacteria. Another bit of research talked about the impact of sulfites on our kidney. And apparently, there seems to be some evidence to suggest that sulfites may have a negative impact on kidney function. Studies have found that high levels of sulfites can damage the kidneys, leading to inflammation and kidney damage. However, the exact mechanism by which this occurs are not fully understood. It's important to note that most people do not consume enough sulfites to cause significant harm to their kidneys. However, those with pre-existing kidney problems or those who consume large amounts of sulfite-containing food and drinks may be at a greater risk of kidney damage. And there's one more piece of information. According to Anthony William, the medical medium, sulfites and other unnatural additives to food can build up in your brain. And this can cause neuron and neurotransmitter damage that disrupts your brain's ability to function. And this can cause depression in some individuals. Once these food additives, also including MSG and aspartame, can trigger depressive episodes, drinking only 1 can of soda can set off a new attack. And so you wonder about these allergic reactions that people are having, and they have anxiety and this feeling of doom happening. Is that due to damage to the neurotransmitters and the neurons in the brain? There's so much we don't know. It seems we need to delve a little deeper into what sulfites do to our body. They may have been around for centuries, preserving fruits and wines, but that doesn't necessarily mean they get a clean bill of health. Those who have the sensitivities are perhaps a blessing and a warning, and have been a means for science to continue and to deepen the research and not accept the GRAS concept, which is in the States is generally recognized as safe. Because there's so much to our divine design, to our body. And when we start adding all these additives, and if 70% of food eaten in the States is processed food, I kind of hate to imagine what all those additives are doing to our physical body, our emotional bodies, and our state of mind. And as always, I recommend you become your own advocate and sleuth. Check out those labels on packaged food and increase the amount of fresh fruit and veggies you serve yourself and your family. Become that conscious eating, conscious living advocate for yourself. Well, my friends, that's our chat for today. Have a wonderful day, and this is Easter weekend. So just blessings of love and harmony and peace to you and your family and friends. Thank you for listening. And any questions, you can always go to rosiesjoy11@gmail.com. And if you want more information on healthy foods or sort of unhealthy additives, you can go to my app, Authentic Sacred Design. I've got lots of videos and articles for you to look at there. Until we meet again, thank you.